Hello everyone, this is Mark of Fractals&Forks on Sunday, the 8th of October 2017. And because there were quite a lot of people that were, wondering about USOIL, I thought there's some interesting things to say about it, and that's why I'm doing this USOIL special kind of. And before we begin, we can talk about fundamentals and Hurricane Nate, which seems to be like a doozy. I still think that the more important stuff is as I've mentioned before, the Aramco IPO in 2018 that's about to go through after being postponed for a couple of times. And I do think that by the time that the IPO goes through, that oil will be well over $50 a barrel. That's just my personal opinion, and not to be taken as obviously as trading advice. And there's a general commodities spectrum that's there's lows hopefully in gold and silver and natural gas, and copper has been going up last week. I don't really understand why oil has been going down, but we'll look at the charts, right? And the charts, in the end, for me, that's the only thing that matters. All the rest is noise. You gotta, of course, stay a little bit up to date and know the news, but in the end, we don't. There's nobody, and I really believe this, that there is nobody that can really know what are the how shall I say it, the components that make up the oil price. I mean, you can say oversupply and the rig count and what, I don't know what else. We don't really know what the impact is, right? So let's go to the charts. And as usual, I will start going, top down, monthly, weekly, daily, and we'll look at the 4 hour and the 1 hour too in this case. So if we look, let me zoom out. If we look at the monthly chart, and this is FXCM, so it only starts in 86. So what do we see? I mean, we got a bottom here, right? And that was a clear indication right here, which is a 50% retracement from this high to this high, actually. So we're in an uptrend. There's no denying that we're in an uptrend. We got a peak here, we got a lower peak here, but overall, we still have higher lows from here. I mean, there's no denying. So next, we're gonna look at a fork that starts from here, this low, and if you look at the line chart, that's why I picked this one, because that's the low, a closing low on a monthly basis, and same thing here, and same thing here, a high closing basis, a low closing basis, and that's how we make up a fork. So now let's zoom in a little bit more. Fib wise, we've got a fib range from a high to a low. What's the target? I do not well, I don't think we'll get to $80 a barrel. That's wishful thinking, but still technically that would be the target. Okay, but let's zoom in a little bit more, and what do we see? We got sliding parallels from this median line. We take a low here, just 2 touches, right? But if we draw other parallels, we can actually see kind of a channel, an upsloping channel with a median line. It's not right in the middle, but we got some touches here, and more importantly, that was exactly the high last month. All right. For a monthly chart, one other thing, if this is wave 1, we reached the 61.8 extension here at 55. Are we in a wave 3? I don't know. Like I told you before, Elliott wave is not my strong point. So we could definitely say that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we got an ABC correction. ABC. Is this 1? And are we just in 2, or did we finish 2 already? And we're making, you know, or is this 1? I'm sorry. And are we making 2 now? And is the third wave still coming? I don't know. So we'll leave that to the yellow Elliott wave ticians, or however you call them. From a RSI standpoint, you know, we're going higher. We could draw a little trend line here. Maybe not from the lows. Well, maybe, well, let's see. So I don't like drawing it from way oversold, but, you know, if you check this out, we're like crawling higher, right? Of course, this monthly candle, it looks really bearish. I got a 20 MA on here because I kind of like how this is bottoming out, and the 20 MA is still going up. So that could be something for to look out for support, which is still $1 lower. It's at 48.23. All right, so that's all about the monthly chart. Now let's look at a weekly chart. We got a bearish, obviously, more recent fork. Why do I like this fork, and what is there to say about this fork? It was support right here, right? Okay, so we started going down. We zoomed through the median line, which was an indication that actually with this strong downtrend we would reach the lower parallel at some point. We didn't here. We went up. We didn't reach the median line again, so, you know, still bearish. So we went down again, tried to reach the median line again, no dice, and then finally reached the lower parallel. Now, what has been happening since then? Reached the lower parallel and hit the median line. All right, so this is like basic Andrew's pitchfork behavior. It tried a few times to get above it. It didn't. It, you know, took a bit of a breath, tried to get above it again, didn't. A bit of a breath, went above it. And here, you know, it should have bounced off of it, but, you know, went a little bit lower, then went above it. And what's very interesting here is that normally, if, you know, the upper parallel is not reached, it should test the median line again. That didn't happen. So what we're doing here is like gapping. I call it gapping away from the median line more and more. So we're actually, you know, creating here a raised floor. All right. So what's important is 45.55. Below that, forget it. Then we'll probably drop into the 30s again, towards this red sliding parallel. What I like here on the weekly is the 55 MA, which I really like on a weekly for basically every pair. We're there. We closed, what is it? 49.32, and we closed 49.25 here on FXCM. So, you know, good chances if the 55 MA is support, that we get a little bit of a bounce here. Also RSI, same trend line. We could get some support here, and we go higher. All right, now, okay. I wanted to so let me remove all drawing tools here, and I wanted to make this also a little bit of a educational thing, right? So we got the daily here, and what do we do when we look at a daily? Your first indication would be, you know, let's look at horizontal levels, right? Obviously it's 42.11 here, so let's draw a line here. So I'm just going to build a chart how I would start with an empty chart, right? Okay, so now we have that. Then we look at RSI. Trend line, it won't really fit perfectly, but still we go from the low. It is from oversold. Don't like using it, but in this case, if the low is there, the low is there. So we kind of broke the RSI trend line last week on Friday. So a break of a trend line, you know, doesn't mean anything if there's a reversal the next day. So let's assume that we got a low here. So we're just gonna ignore this for now and look at it again on Monday after the close, or Tuesday after the close. All right. So what's the range here? So we gotta know approximately where the breakout level is. So let's look at it this way. This looks all right, actually. Let's start it from here. So this would actually be kind of, you know, the green line we have to get over. Let me put it a little bit higher. This is probably better on a closed basis. All right, so let's quickly look at the closed basis. So this is not bad, right? That's the level to beat for further upside. Okay, now forks. So what do? We just zoom in, and then we try to make a fork. So let's start here. We take a low, take a high, and we got this one. Now what's nice about this is, you know, support, resistance, a reversal. So this is the median line. Let me first get rid of these first for, you know, educational purposes, so to speak. But we're below it right here. So what can we do? We're just going to see if a shift fork is probably better. So it encompasses price, but we still have some peaks here. So let's see if a modified shift is better. So we got this one, right? Okay. What's good about this one is that it encompasses price, and the median line was kind of resistance, support, not here. You know, it traded around it and then went to the downside. Now let's see what so this is not doing anything, right? Let's not look at the 38.2. The 50, it's all right, but if we look at the 75, that's a little bit more interesting. So what do I mean about that is that you know, price went to the 75 line. Well, let's start a little bit earlier. We got this fork, price went to the median line, and then it found support around the 75 line, right? Then the 75 line was support, the 25, well, yeah, the 75 line on the other side, the 25 line, I don't know, what is it called? Is both the 75 or whatever. The idea is, you know, the same distance from under the median line to above the median line. So there's like a symmetry, right? Okay, so now we went to the median line. Now the risk is that we obviously go back to the 75 line. But if price is bullish, it should find support around the 50 line. You know, we gotta stay constructive. So we're gonna draw the 50 line, and we're almost here. We're basically here. So next Monday, you know, 49 approximately could and should be support if we're still gonna think bullish, right? What do we do then? We just look at a fib, right? So a high, a low, and lo and behold, we just hit the 50 fib, which in an uptrend, you know, is an indication, if we turn here, that we will make another high. Okay. Now what's the risk? Obviously is that we go back to the 75 line on a 61.8, which is 48.34. So that is actually the level on the downside to look at, in my opinion, to still stay constructive. Well, that's like a bullish invalidation level. Okay, now, yeah, this is all fine, but let's look at some forks a little bit further away. So we got a low here, a high here, a low here. Let's see what happens if we draw a fork here, and let me put it back to an original fork. So yeah, I mean, this isn't valid, right? Because didn't reach the median line. This doesn't adhere to price anyway. But what do we do with a fork? We try to get a low. This is a spike low, but it's not really a closing low, right? Then we have to move it a little bit to the left. So what do? We move it here. And lo and behold, look at that. Let me just adjust it precisely. And then, you know, slope wise, we are the same, we're at the same slope, the same angle as this fork. So what are we going to keep? You know, we can keep both and then see what happens, but basically we are in the lower half of this ascending fork. Now let's see the next low. Well, it could be this one, so let's take that one. So this is how I start building. And look at this. You know, this is, you could call it coincidence, but you know, I don't believe in coincidences. So if this is all the slope of influence with the 3 forks, and obviously this is a modified shift, but those 2 forks, and they go to the same angle of influence, and we could even try to see what happens here. I haven't tried this, but yeah, I mean, it's not really the same. So let's not use this. But if we go to the extreme, which is this one, you know, the outer side of the highest price, the extremes to the upside or to the left, so to speak. But yeah, I mean, look, it's still the same slope. Now this gets messy, but you get the idea, right? I mean, is this coincidence? No. What does this mean? Well, this means that this trend line is probably going to be very, very, very strong. So where is it? On Monday, you know, the low, which would touch this trend line basically, that would be around 47.60. That's probably a price level that you need to write down. If we get down there, that's definitely something that needs to be bought. And why is that? It's also a horizontal level. So if I take a horizontal approach, closing basis, yeah, that would be like this level. It's a little bit higher. Anyway, you see what I mean. I mean, you just try to see, okay, what is an important level horizontally where price has, you know, found support and resistance. So if we start from here, you know, never closed here, it was resistance here, so 1 or 2 or 3. Okay, that's actually not enough. I thought there would be more, but you know, this would definitely be approximately a level to watch. Well, actually, it's not. I'm not gonna draw it. It doesn't give me enough touches and enough reactions to it to leave it on the chart. Anyway, okay, so now we have established that, you know, the slope that we're working with is something, you know, to keep. So now let me go to my normal daily chart, and here is something I wanted to show you, because we just established that this is the slope, right? Now, how did I build this chart? And I built this chart actually I think around February, And why did I do that? Because I started with this trend line, because we got 3 touches here, we got almost a 4th touch here, so this slope was actually very, very important. What did I do? I just, I just took it and I moved it, and look, lo and behold, that was exactly the low. If we took the same angle from here to the low here, we hit exactly the low here. And you can check my Mark Half Twitter feed. I actually tweeted this at the time, and obviously I didn't keep long enough, but hey, that's what trading is. I mean, when you have to keep a trade open and sit on your hands, it becomes very, very, very difficult at a certain point. All right, so which fork did I draw actually on this chart? And it will be, it's, to me, it's flabbergasting. Wait, so let me draw this one, a high, a low, and we make it on modified shift again, and look, this is what we got. And this slope is only defined, in June, end of June, but the slope, the angle of the slope is perfect. It's just perfect. So I just want to say again, the slope lines that we've got now are definitely something to look at in the future. So this also means, and I just drew this today, this sliding parallel from, with the same slope, caught the low here. On a closing basis, it caught the low here, right? If you look at line chart, close. So what am I looking at is that this will be support. And what is what else is actually interesting, if we look at this fib extension from the first wave, so to speak, it hit the 161.8. I thought we would find support here, and price was, reacting to the fib here, to fib extension, but then we dropped down. So now, in my opinion, again, the 100% fib extension from here is back into play, and that is around the levels, 48s, what we're looking at for support for oil. Okay. 200 MA, yeah, we closed below it. That's not really, usually that's not really bullish, but let's see what happens tomorrow or tonight. I do think we get a reversal here. Yeah. 4-hour chart, yeah, the same thing. Again, the shift. Let me get rid of the shift actually on the 4-hour, because this is way too nice, right? Especially the median line here. We got the lower parallel, we got the 75 line, that was support, and we got a reversal here. So now I think we will test it around 49 or the 48.89 that I mentioned before, and then we go up. On an hourly, same thing, obviously. you know, this confluence. So this is you know, I like my red zones, and this confluence. Let me draw another parallel channel. Well, let me do it like this. So we got a little bit of a zone here. Let me draw a circle here. Oh, where is it? Here, an ellipse. So we're looking at basically here, right? You know, it's going to be Monday, so a few hours, and maybe a drop down to the low 49s, or maybe a bit in the 48s, and then we go up. Okay, so that was it. I hope that this this was a little bit explanatory how I think about oil. I will, you know, update the other charts in the next few hours, and maybe we could do a webinar tonight that I will record if there's nobody that's able to join. But very, very exciting setups. Also, I just saw that Andy posted his Fractals in Play page, also very interesting. So October is going to be a lot better than September. I really, really, really have a good feeling about it. So thank you for listening if you listened to the end, and talk to you guys later.